Hey guys, welcome again to the Maths Club. If you are just joining us, you're welcome. Before we begin, I will encourage you to go to the playlist on percentage and start from the first video on it. There are two videos before this WAEC past question, so if you have not watched any of them, I would strongly encourage you to watch them because we're going to be building on those videos. Also, if you head down to our channel and you go to this place called community, there are things that we would like to interact with you. Example, look at this post. It says we want to hear from you. What are we doing right? What can we improve on? Please comment below. Many thanks. I would really love to hear from you because I want you to have the best value from this channel, and the only way I can know that is when I hear from you. So please just take a minute or two and fill the form, or fill and comment out whatever you think, and I really appreciate. Trust me, I respond. Anybody that sends me a comment or anything knows I respond as soon as possible. So back to the WAEC past question on percentage. The first question I'm going to be taking from is going to be taken from the year 2022, and it says that the length of a piece of a stick is 1.7 meters. A boy measured it as 1.8 meters. We should find the percentage error. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. So our formula for percentage error is wrong measurements, actual measurements, all over the actual measurements times 100. So in this case, what is the wrong measurement? Or let's start from what we have. The actual measurement is meant to be 1.7 meters, 75 meters, and then the wrong measurement is 1.8 meters. So let's substitute. That will be 1.8 minus 1.75 all over 1.75 times 100. So 1.8 minus 1.75, that will give you 0.05 all over 1.75 times 100. So if you press that in your calculator, what would that give you? That gave me 20 over 7. I use an FX991 here, so it will give me in terms of fraction. So 20 over 7, or what? That will be 2 whole number, that will be 14, so it remains 6 over 7. Let's see if our answer is correct. Great, that will be option B. Beautiful. Next question says that a trader made a loss of 15% when an article was sold. Find the ratio of the selling price to the cost price. I want you to pause the video again and try that yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we're told that the loss is 15%, and 15% in terms of decimal is like saying 15 over 100, which is 0.15. So we know that the cost price itself is like 1, right? It's like a whole number 1. So by the time you deduct the loss of 0.15 from the whole, right, from the whole, that will give you 0.85. So that means that what the person sold was actually 0.85 of the cost price. That is why the loss of 15% occurred. If this is strange, that means that you've not followed any of the previous videos, so I will encourage you again to go back and watch it. So we're dealing with 0.85 of the cost price because there is a loss of 15%. So the ratio of the selling price, so this is the selling price actually. So the selling price all over the cost price would be 0.85 CP all over CP. If we cancel this out, so this is 0.85, which is the same as saying 85 over 100. And if we divide it by 5, this is 20, this is 1, 3, 17. So in terms of ratio, that is 17 ratio 20. Let's see if our answer is correct. Great, that'll be option C. Next question says that a man purchases 180 books at the cost of 250 naira each. He sold white copies at 300 naira each, and the rest at a discount of 5 kobo in the naira of the cost price. If you made a profit of 7,125 naira, find the value of Y. I want us to actually solve this one together because of there's something new that we've not seen before, which is in the naira of the cost price, something like that. So we know that we can find the cost price from this. That will be 180 times 250, and if you press that in your calculator, what would that give you? That will give you 45,000 naira. So for the selling, it sold Y at 300 naira. So the first was 300 times Y, which is 300Y. And now said, and the rest, what is the rest? The rest is 180 minus Y times, because the total number of books is 180. You already sold Y for 300. The rest will be 180 minus Y. So, and the rest at the discount of 5 kobo in the naira of the cost price. So the way you interpret it is like saying there is a 5 kobo discount for every 1 naira. 1 naira is 100 kobo. So for every 1 naira, there is a 5 kobo discount. So how can we do this? So if I convert and I multiply by 100, this will give me 5%. So the discount is actually 5%. So this is how you do it. When they say something in the kobo of the naira, just say 5 over 100, right? Because 100 kobo makes 1 naira. Then you multiply by 100 to find the exact percent. So if there was a discount of 5%, the old price should be 1 minus the discount of the 5%. That would be 5 over 100. 5 over 100 is 0.05, and this would be 0.95. So that means that he sold it at 5% discount of the cost price. So that would be 0.95 CP. Simple and short. So this 0.95 multiplied by the cost price is what? 250. Remember that. So this is 180 minus y multiplying 0.95 times 250, and that will give me 237.5. So 237.5 times 180, that gave me 42,750. Then this would be minus what? This guy times this guy, that will be minus 237.5y. So we have the first branch of the selling price, we have the second branch of selling price. So the total selling price will just be S1 plus S2. S1 is 300y, S2 is 42, let me put this in bracket, 750 minus 237.5y. So if you open up the bracket, it's still the same thing because plus times minus is still minus. So we can say 300 minus 237.5, that will give me 62.5y plus 42,750. Now says that if you made a profit of 7,125 naira, find the value of y. So what do we know as the formula for profits? We know that profit is equal to selling price minus the cost price. The selling price here is 62.5y plus 42,750 minus the cost price. What is the cost price? 45,000 naira. So this should be an extra 0. So minus 45,000 naira. And the profit that they told us is what? 7,125. So this is 2.5y plus 42,750 minus 45,000. That will give you minus 2,250. And when this plus times minus, it will give you minus. So this will turn to minus. So 7,125. Let's collect like terms. 7,125 minus will come over, it will become plus. Plus 2,250 is equal to 62.5 y. This is 9,375 is equal to 62.5 y. So if I divide both sides by 62.5 to make the y stand alone, what would that give me? This will cancel this. This will cancel this to give you 150. So that means our y is equal to 150. I think the most important takeaway from this is this 5 kobo in the naira of the cost price. There's also some more examples we're going to see. So by the time we do like 2 or 3 more examples, this will become very clear to you. Let's see if our answer is correct. Great. Next question says that a trader bought X bags of rice at the cost of C is equal to 24x plus 103 and sold them at the price of S is equal to 3x minus x squared over 20. Find the expression for the profits, and then if 20 bags of rice were sold, calculate the percentage profits. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know the equation for the C, we know the equation for the S. Profits P is equal to S minus C, selling price minus cost price. So that will be 33x minus x squared over 20 minus open brackets 24x plus 103. So we need to expand the brackets. That will be 33x minus x squared over 20 minus 24x minus times plus is minus, so minus 103. P is equal to x squared is always coming first, so that will be minus x squared all over 20. 33x minus 24x, that will give you plus 9x, and then the minus 103 comes last. So that is our answer for question 1. So this I. So the I now says that we should find the percentage profits. So we know that percentage profits from the previous videos is that we have profits all over the cost price times 100. But here we're told that the x is equal to 20. So we can find P to be minus 20 all squared all over 20. I'm just substituting this into this formula here. Plus 9 times 20 minus 103. 20 will cancel 20. Like, since it's squared, it will cancel one of them. That will be minus 20 plus 9 times 20 is 180. Then minus 103. So minus 20 plus 180 minus 103. That will give me what? 57. So my P is 57. The next thing to find is the CP. So the CP, we know the formula for CP to be what? 24x plus 103. and that will be equal to 24 times 20, because we are dealing with 20 bags, plus 103. That is 480 plus 103, and that will give me what? 583. So now I can substitute. So the percentage profits would now be 57, which is the profit all over the cost price, 583 times 100. So 57 divided by 583 times 100, that gives me 9.78% to 2 decimal places. So our answer is 9.78% to 2 decimal places. Simple and short. Great. So you can see our equation and you can see our answer. Fifth question says that a trader paid import duty of 38 kobo in the naira on the cost of an engine. If the total cost of 28,800 was paid as import duty, calculate the cost of the engine. I want you to try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know that the import duty is 38 kobo for every 1 naira, which is saying 100 kobo. So if I multiply this by 100, so the import duty is 38% of the cost price. Now, it now says that the person paid 28,800 as custom duty. So what's not the cost of the engine? So 38% times the cost of the engine should be 22,800. So if I cross multiply, the cost of the engine will be 22,800 times 100, then divide this by what? 38. Let's plug that to our calculator and see what it gives us. So that means the cost price is 60,000 naira. So that's basically it about it. So that once you understand that in the kobo, in the naira, it is very, very simple. So that should be option A. Great. Next question says that Mr. Safo borrowed $25,000 from Afiak Financial Services at 21% simple interest per annum for 3 years. He was able to pay back the loan in 2 years at equal yearly installments. How much did he pay each year? I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Let's solve it together. So we said in the last video that simple interest is what? Principal times rate times time all over 100. The principal, which is the amount borrowed here, is $25,000. The rates is 21%. The tenure, which is the time, is 3 years. And they said he was able to pay back that loan in 2 years. The simple interest on that loan will have been 25,000 times 21% times 3 all over 100. So this will cancel the 2 of it. So that will be 250 times 21 times 3. So this is $15,750. This is just the interest. So the total amount that you should have paid back will be the principal plus the simple interest. And that will be what? 25,000 plus 15,750. And that is $40,750. So this is the amount that you should have paid back. But he now said that he was able to pay back the loan in 2 years at equal yearly installments. How much did he pay for each year? So if he was able to pay all of this guy back in 2 years, so for each year he must have paid back 40,750 divided by 2. So that means that he paid $20,375 for each of the years. So he paid $20,375 per year for the 2 years. So that's basically, let's see if our answer is correct. Great. Next one says that 2 consecutive numbers are such that the sum of thrice the smaller and twice the larger is 17. Find correct to 3 significant figures, smaller number, as a percentage of the sum of the 2 numbers. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we said 2 consecutive numbers. So let's say the first number is A. That means that the second number will be what? A plus 1, because they're consecutive. Now says the sum of thrice the smaller one is A, so that is 3A plus, and that's twice the larger, so 2 times the larger one, which is A plus 1, is what? 17. So let's break this apart. That will be 3A plus 2A plus 2 is equal to 17. That's by opening this bracket. 3A plus 2A is 5A, so it's equal to 17 minus 2. 5A is equal to 15. If I divide both sides by 5, our A is equal to 3. So that means that the first number is 3 and the second number is what? Is 4, which is A plus 1. Simple. So it now says that find correct to 3 significant figures, the smaller number as a percentage of the sum of the two numbers. So that would be 3, which is a smaller number, as a percentage of the sum of the two numbers. That would be 3 plus 4 times 100, and that would be 3 over 7 times 100. So 3 divided by 7, multiply this by 100, that would be 42.857%. But they said to 3 signal figures, so that would be 1, 2, 3. This is 5. This will become 9. So that would be 42.9%. So 2, 3s. So that's basically it. Let's see if we're correct. Great, for 2.9%. Next question says that on Sam's first birthday celebration, his grandfather deposited an amount of $1,000 in the bank account, which is compounded at 4% interest annually. Find how much is in Sam's account when Sam is 4 years old. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. There is a formula for compound interest that we discussed in the previous video, but I'm going to use that formula. I want us to look at it mathematically. The first birthday to the second birthday, let's see how much will have been compounded, because the compound interest is 4%. Remember what I said about compound interest that previous video, that you just see 1 plus this is 4%, which is like 0.04, right? Multiply that with the principal, the first principal, which is $1,000. Let's see what that will give us. That's 1.04 times 1,000. So that means that the money has grown to $1,040. Then from the second birthday to the third birthday, right, that will be 1 plus 0.04 times, because it's compound interest, we're also including the interest that has been accrued in it over time. So that will be times $1,040 in this case. By its third birthday, the money has grown to $1,081.6. Now from his third birthday to his fourth birthday, that means by the time he's 4 years old, that will be 1 plus 0.04 times the amount that's been accrued so far, which is $1,081.6. So 81.6. So this is 1,124.86. So this is the amount that has been accrued by the time Sam is 4 years old. So if we wanted to use the formula, how many birthdays is between his first and his fourth? You can see first to second, second to third, third to fourth, which is 3 birthdays. So I could have just used that formula that we said, our formula for compound interest, no, for the amounts, that will be total amounts for compound interest will be the principal times what? 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power of t. So the principal in this case is what? $1,000 times 1 plus the rate is 4%, which is 4 over 100 by 3, because there are 3 birthdays within that period. So if you plug all of that into your calculator, plus 4 over 100 raised to the power of 3, you would have 1,124.86, which is the same thing that we add here. But you might be tempted to say that the number of years is 4, so that's why you have to count. First birthday, second birthday, second birthday, third birthday, third birthday to fourth birthday. You have to be very, very careful. If I put 4 here, I will have completely missed out the question. Let's see if our answer is correct. 1,124.86 to 2 decimal places. Great. This question says that Fatik buys milk at X naira per tin and sells each at a profit of Y naira. If she sells 10 tins of milk, how much does she receive from the sales? I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So now the cost price is X and the selling price is the cost price plus the profits, Abi, and which is X plus Y. So if she now sells 10, how much does she receive from the sales? So for 10 tins, that will be 10 times X plus Y, or you can say 10 open brackets X plus Y. So this is it. Simple and short. Let's see if our answer is correct. 10x, so that will be option D. Great. Next question says that a woman received a discount of 20% on a piece of clothes she purchased from a shop. If she paid $525, what was the original price? I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. The discount was 20%, and then the selling price, or the price that she bought it, was $525. So that means that from the cost price, they must have removed 20%, which is 0.2 of that cost price as the selling price. So that would be 0.8 of the cost price. This should not be new to us. So the selling price was $525. So that would be 0.8 of the cost price. So if I divide both sides by 0.8, what would this give me? So 525 divided by 0.8. So that means that the original price, which is the cost price, was $656.25. Simple and short. So that would be option C. Next question says that Bala sold an article for 6,900 and made a profit of 15%. Calculate his percentage profit if he had sold it for 6,600 naira. Pause the video again and try it out yourself. Let's solve it together. So the selling price was 6,900 naira and then the profit was 15%. So what can we see from that? The cost price was marked up by 0.15% of the cost price to get the selling price. So this is like the selling price is what? 1.15 of the cost price. So this is 6,900 equal to 1.15 CP. If I divide both sides by 1.15, so that means the cost price is what? 6,000 naira. Great. So if you want to find his percentage profits, if he had sold it for 6,600, first is that for percentage profits, we need to first know what the profits is all over the cost price, then times 100. The profits in this case would be selling price minus cost price, which is 6,600 minus 6,000, because we are saying if he had sold it for 6,600 naira, so the profits will have been 600 naira. Therefore, the percentage profits will have been 600 all over 6,000 times 100%. And if we do that, this will cancel 1, so to me 10, this will cancel 10. So the percentage profits will have been 10%. Let's see if our answer is correct. That'll be option B. Great. So the next question says that Eric sold his house through an agent who charged 8% commission on the selling price. If Eric received $117,760 after the sale, what was the selling price of the house? I want you to pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know something, that total selling price of the house, total selling price must be equal to Eric's fee, the amount Eric could charge, plus the agent's fee. Now we established that the agent is going to take 8% commission on the selling price. So if they sold it for, if the selling price was like 100%, the agent is going to take 8% of that amount. So that means that the amount that will be left will be 92%. So that means that 92% is the amount that Eric would receive. The selling price, like the 100%, the agent is taking 8% out of it. So that means that the amount that Eric would take will be 92% at the end, because I have to subtract it from the O. So if that is given, we know that 92%, so that's 92 over 100, times the total selling price is going to be Eric's share, right? And this was Eric's share was 117,760. So this would be 117,760. So this is 92 over 100 times total selling price. So we could rewrite this and say this is 0.92 times total selling price, and is equal to 117,760. If I divide both sides by 0.92, what would that give me? So this will go, this will go, and you need to punch this in your calculator. If you press on your calculator, you're going to have $128,000. So that means that the total selling price, or the selling price of the house, was $128,000. So some of these questions, you have to just picture it in your head. If the total selling price is 100% and the agent is taking 8%, then Eric's charge will be 92%. And then instead of giving us the amount that Eric received, we can be able to find the selling price of the house. Let's see if our answer is correct. So that should be option B. Great. Next question says that a woman bought 130 kg of tomatoes for 52,000 naira. She sold half of the tomatoes at a profit of 30%. The rest of the tomatoes began to go bad. She then reduced the selling price per kg by 12%. Calculate the new selling price per kg and then the percentage profit on the entire sales if she threw away 5 kg of bad tomatoes. I want you to pause the video and try out this question yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know that the woman bought 130 kg of tomato, and then she bought it at a cost of 52,000 naira. So those 130 kg cost 52,000. We can find the cost per kg. So we can say the cost price per kg would just be total cost, which is 52,000 divided by 130. If you press that to your calculator, that will give you 400 naira. So this is the cost per kg. Now she said that she sold half at a profit of 30%. So let's say the selling price for, or let's say selling price per kg for the first half, and this would be equal to, because she sold it at a profit of 30%, that would be 1.3 because 1, which is the old cost price, plus 0.3, which was the extra. So 1 plus 0.3 times 400. If you do that, this should give you 520 naira. So she sold the first half for 520 naira per kg, as against the 400 naira that she bought. And now since the rest of the tomatoes began to go bad, she then reduced that selling price, which is 520, by 12%. So that means that the selling price per kg for the second half, this will now be, because she reduces further by 20 or by 12%. So that is 1 minus 0.12 times that selling price per kg that she had before, 520. So 1 minus 0.12 will give you 0.88. So 0.88 times 520, that will give you 457.6. So 457.6. So this was a new selling price per kg for the second half. So it says find the new selling price per kg. Of course, we've already found that. And the second one is that saying percentage profits on the entire sale if she threw away 5 kg of bad tomatoes. So now we can find the total selling price, right? For the first half, she sold half of them for 520. So that would be, I think it was 130. Yeah. So that would be 130. Let me put inside the bracket. 130 divided by 2 times 520. This will give me total amount from the first half, plus 130 divided by 2 the second half. But then they said that she threw away 5 kg of it, so minus 5 kg. Maybe I should put this on inside his own bracket. Then multiply by this new selling price, which is 457.6. So times 457.6. So I'll close all these big brackets. So let's take the first half and see. 130 divided by 2 times 520. This gave me 33,800 plus 130 divided by 2, that's 65. If I remove 5 from it, that 5 kg that she threw away, that's 60. And I multiply by 457.6. That will give me 27,456. So if I had both of them together, what would that give me? It gave me 61,000. So this is naira 256. So this is the total selling price that she sold everything. Now, the next step, we should calculate the percentage profit. So percentage profit will be that total selling price divided by the cost price, total cost price, then minus 1. I've told you about this before. But let's solve it the normal way. So percentage profits, this will be the selling price minus the cost price all over the cost price times 100. So the selling price is 61,256 minus, I think it was 52,000. Yeah, 52,000 divided by 52,000 times 100. So if I subtract 52,000 from this gave me 9,256 over 52,000 times 100. If I divide this by 52,000 and I multiply that value by 100, so it gave me 17.8%. So the percentage profits after throwing away 5 kg of the bad tomatoes was 17.8%. Let's see if we're correct. Great. So you see 457.6 and 17.8%. Number 14 says that there are 250 boys and 150 girls in a school. If 60% of the boys and 40% of the girls play football, what percentage of the school play football? I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Come back. Let's solve it together. So we can find the number of boys that play football. The number of boys is, if 60% of the boys play football, so that would be 60 over 100 times 250. What would that give you? That gave me 150. So number of boys that play football is 150. And number of girls that play football would be 40 over 100 times number of girls, which is 150. So that would be 0.4 times 150, and that will give you 60. So because we want to find total, the percent of students that play football, we need to find total number of students. T is what? Total number of boys. So let me just put capital letter B so that you know that one's total number of boys, total number of girls. The boys in the school are 250. The girls in the school are 150. So 250 plus 150, that will give you 400. So you can say percentage of football players. Let me just say of football players. That will give you what? Number of boys that play football plus number of girls that play football all over total number of students times 100. So this is, if I bring this down, this is 150 plus 60 all over 400 times 100. So 150 plus 60 is 210 divided by 400 times 100. So 210 divided by 400 times 100, that will give you 52.5%. So 52.5% of the students in the school play football. Let's see if we're correct. So that should be option D. Great. Number 15 says a used car was purchased at 900,000 naira. Its value depreciated by 30% in the first year. In the subsequent year, the depreciation was 22% of its value at the beginning of the year. If the car was bought on 1st of March 2011, calculate to the nearest 100 naira the value of the car on the 25th of February 2015. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. What do we know? We know that the cost price was 900,000. And they said in the first year, depreciated by 30%. So the first year, the depreciation was 30%. So that would be 1 minus 0.3 because it's the depreciation. So times 900,000. And this 0.7 times 900,000. So this should give you 630,000. It now says in each subsequent years, the depreciation was 22% of its value at the beginning of the year. So that's each subsequent year. Fine. So if the car was bought on the 1st of March 2011, so this one is the first year. So this is 2011 to 2012. It now says calculate correct to the value at 25th of February 2015. So we know that from 2012, yeah, you know, he said it's 22% of the value at the beginning of the year. So you will always be doing maybe 1 minus 0.22 times the old value, 1 minus 2 times the old value. So that's basically just compound interest. I use the compound interest formula to do that. So from 2012 to 2015, how many years was there? We have 2012 to 2013, 2013 to 2014, 2014 to 2015. Right, by February of 2015, that will have made it 3 years. Our T is 3. Our depreciation, which is 22%, so our percentage depreciation is 22%. And then what else again? Our value, the initial value at the first year, which is our principal at after the first year is 630,000. That's the one that's had a different percentage depreciation. So we already know this because from 2012 to 2015, percentage depreciation is constant. So if you look at our formula that we did in, I think, the first video, no, that should be the second video or first, one of the two. So we can now find the percent depreciation. We said the amount, okay, I think saying that find the value of the car. Okay, so that would be the amount. The formula for amount that we said was P times 1, because it's depreciation now, it's not be plus, it's to be minus. So minus R over 100 raised to the power of T. That will give us the amount that the car will be worth. So we can say P is 630,000 times 1 minus the R is 22 over 100 raised to the power of T, which is 3. So this 630,000 times 1 minus 0.22, that will give me 0.78. So 0.78 raised to the power of 3. So 0.78 raised to the power of 3 multiplied by 630,000. This gave me 298,967.76 naira. But it's set to the nearest 100. So this is the nearest 100. If I wanted to wrap up to the nearest 100, this would be 299,000. So this is approximately 299,000 naira to the nearest 100. That's basically how you solve this type of questions. You could do it differently and start doing each of the years, but I mean, this is just better. Once from 20 to 2015, it was the same percentage depreciation. Just take whatever was the ending from the first year and use your compound interest formula, and then you're good to go. Let's see if you're correct. Great, 299,000. Next question says that Lamin bought the book for 300 naira and sold it to Bola at a profit of X percent. Bola then sold the same book at a profit of X percent. It now says if James paid 6x plus 3 over 4 naira more for the book than Lamin paid, find the value of X. I want you to pause the video and solve this. Forget about all the confusion that might appear. Solve it step by step. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know that the price that Lamin bought the book was for 300 naira. The price that Bola bought the book, that's B, was at a profit of X%. So that would be 1 plus X over 100, Abi, multiplied by 300. So this is like the costs. Let's break down. This will be 300 plus 3X if you open up the brackets. It now says Bola sold the book at a profit of X%, the same X%, right? But who did she sell the same book to? So I think if you look at it, it's not complete, but then they now said if James paid so and so, so that means that maybe she actually sold it to James. Let's assume that he sold it to so James bought the book at a profit of X, but that would be 1 plus X over 100 multiplied by 300 plus 3X. Let's try to expand these brackets. So this is like 1 times 300 will give me 300. 1 times 3x will give me plus 3x. X over 100 times 300, that will give me plus 300x over 100. Then plus x over 100 times 3x, this will give me 3x squared all over 100. So if I break this down, this will cancel this. So 3x plus 3x, that's 6x. So if I just rearrange everything, that would be 3x squared all over 100 plus 6x plus 300. So this is the price that James bought the book for. It now says that if James paid 6x plus 3 over 4 more for the book than Lamin, how much did Lamin pay for the book? 300. Lamin paid 300 for the book, but James paid how much more? 6x plus 3 over 4. So this plus 6x plus 3 over 4. This is the amount that James paid. It now says find the value of x. So we notice that this is the amount James paid from one side of the equation. This is the amount that James paid from another side of the equation. Since the amount should be the same thing. So if I equate these two equations together, that will be 3x squared all over 100 plus 6x plus 300 should be equal to 300 plus 6x plus 3 over 4. So there are some things I'm going to do. But if you minus out some, if you carry over some places, like this one will cancel out this one. This is also cancel out this 6x. You can try that out by yourself. So this will be 3x squared all over 100 is equal to 3 over 4. So if you cross multiply, this will be 3x squared times 4 is equal to 3 times 100. So let's divide this by 3 times 4 is 12. So let's just divide this by 12. So this 3 and this 4 will go 3 year 1, 3 year 4, 4 year 1, 4 year 25. So x squared would be equal to 25. So if I want to find x, I'll take the square root of both sides. So that would be square root of x squared is equal to square root of 25. So of course, square root of x squared is x and square root of 25 is plus or minus 5. But in this case, x cannot be minus. So our x is 5. So that's basically it. First things first is that first break down the question. Then this question was, I think there was a bit of this, but we already knew that they didn't mention if Bola is selling the book, which is selling it to. So definitely the last person in this thing is James. So that's how I knew that it was James. And the same thing, once I knew this formula from James, I now already get the question. The question says that James paid this amount more than Lamin. So I just put it. So if this is the amount that James paid, this is also the amount that James paid, then that means that the right hand side should be equal to each other. So if I know that, I just simplified the equation and then I had my x to be equal to 5. Let's see if our answer is correct. Great. So it's even a theory question. Number 17 says that if the simple interest on a certain amount of money saved in the bank for 5 years at 2.5% per annum is 500, calculate the total amount due after 6 years at the same rate. Pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So what are we given? We're told that C year is 5 years and the R was 2.5%. And we're told that the interest I was 500 naira. So we can be able to find the principal from here. Our simple interest formula is PRT over 100. So the interest was 500. The principal is P. The R is 2.5. The T is 5 all over 100. So let's cross multiply. But before cross multiply, this is 5 year 1, 5 year 20. So let's cross multiply. That will be 500 times 20. Then I'll divide this by 2.5. Sorry, I'm not showing that. But that means the principal that they had was 4,000 naira. So it now says that calculate the total amount that is due after 6 years at the same rate. So we know that the P now is 4,000 naira. The R still remains 2.5%. But the T now is what? 6 years. So they told us to find the A. Remember, the A is the principal plus the interest. So we can find, let's find the interest first, which is PRT over 100. So that will be 4,000 times 2.5 times 6 all over 100. So 100 will cancel here. So that will be 40 times 2.5 times 6, and that will give you 600 naira. So the interest is 600 naira. So if the interest is 600 naira, then that means the total amount A, which is principal plus interest, would be 4,000 plus 600 naira. And that will give me 4,600. So these are our amounts after 6 years. Let's see if our answer is correct. So this should be option D. Next question says that an investor paid X naira in Bank M at the rate of 6% simple interest per annum and Y naira in Bank N at the rate of 8% simple interest per annum. If a total of 8 million was invested in the two banks and the investor received a total of 2.32 million as interest from the two banks after 4 years, now says calculate the value of X and Y and the interest paid by the second bank. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know that for Bank M, the rate is 6%, and then for Bank N, okay, the amount also, which is the principal here, is X naira. For Bank N, the rate is 8%, and then the amount or the principal is Y naira. So the question says that if a total of 8 million was invested in two banks, so that means if the principal here was X, this Y here should be 8 million minus X. Great. Because a total of 8 million was invested in both banks. And the investor received a total of 2.32 million as interest. So if the interest here was, let's say Z, that means that the interest here should be what? 2,320,000 minus Z. Because total interest was 2.32 million after 4 years. So the T here is 4, and then the T here is also 4. Great. So now we should find the value of X and Y. So I could do simple interest formula, which is PRT all over 100. So I'll do it for both of them. The interest here is Z. The principal here is X. Multiplied by the rate here is 6. Multiplied by the T here is 4 all over 100. So that means Z here will be equal to 6 times 4 is 24. 24 divided by 100 is 0.24. So X is 0.24X. So this value of our Z. So if I come here to same thing, simple interest, the interest here is 2,320,000 minus Z. Our principal here is 8 million minus X dot. The rate here is 8 and the time here is 4 all over 100. These is very large numbers. So this 2,320,000 minus Z is equal to, so if I say 8 million times 32, so this is 256 million. So 256 million minus 32x all over 100. So this is what we have. Now, let me make Z of the formula here. Or let me just leave this as equation 2 because this is becoming very large. And this is equation 1. So I can now substitute equation 1 in equation 2. So anyway, I see Z in this equation 2, I'll put 0.24x. So this is 2,320,000 minus 0.24x is equal to 256 million minus 32x all over 100. So let's simplify this. So this is like 2,320,000 minus 0.24x is equal to, if I divide, I could do this divided by 100 minus this divided by 100 separately, right? So 256 million divided by 100, that will give me 2,560,000. Minus 32x divided by 100 will give me 0.32x. Okay, so this is becoming better. So minus 0.24x, then plus 0.32x is equal to 2,560,000. This one come over, that will be minus 2,320,000. So this is 0.08x is equal to 240,000. So if I divide both sides by 0.08, so 240,000 divided by 0.08. So my X is equal to 3 million. So if my X is equal to 3 million, remember they said the man invested a total of 8 million. So if my X is equal to 3 million, then that means my Y, which is equal to 8 million minus X, I can substitute. So therefore, Y, which is equal to 8 million minus X, would now be equal to 8 million minus 3 million. And that will give me 5 million. So we know what our X and Y is. Given that, it now says that what is the interest paid by the second bank? what is the interest paid by the second bank? So we know that the Z is 0.24 times X. So Z is equal to 0.24 times X, which is the interest paid from the first bank. If I substitute, our X is 3 million, so I just substitute it. That give me 720,000. Z is the interest from the first bank, but that's what I'm looking for, the interest from the second bank, and that is what 2.32 million minus Z. So the interest from second bank is equal to 2.32 million minus 720,000. So if we do that, this will give you 1.6 million. So this is where I chose to solve my own, right? There is no one way to solve this question, but at the end of the day, let your steps be clear and know what you are doing. So we know that our X here is 3 million, our Y is 5 million, and then the interest from the second bank is 1.6 million. Let's see if we're correct. Great. 3 million, 5 million, 1.6 million. Well done to us. 19th question says that what sum of money will amount to 10,400, I don't know what this is, maybe it's dollars, in 5 years at 6% simple interest? Please solve this question. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So it says what sum of money will amount to, so that means the A here is the 10,400. The T here is 5 years. The rate here is 6%. What do we know? We know that A is equal to principal plus interest, right? We don't know what the principal is, and that's what they said we should find, right? Which is P. So this is 10,400 is equal to P plus, the interest formula is PRT all over 100. So I'll just substitute. So that will be P times the R is 6 times the T is 5 all over 100. So this is P plus 6 times 5 is 30. So that is 30P all over 100. 10,400. If I do this 10,400 is equal to P plus 30 divided by 100 is 0.3P. So 1 plus 0.3, that will give me 1.3. So 10,400 is equal to 1.3P. So if I wanted to find P, I'll divide both sides by 1.3. So therefore our P is equal to 8,000 naira. So it's 8,000 naira that you will put inside this at 6% simple interest for 5 years, that will return to 10,400. Okay, so it's not even naira. The value is D. Let me put the correct currency. It is D. Great. Let's see if our answer is correct. That should be option A. Great. Number 20 says that a principal of 5,600 was deposited for 3 years at compound interest. If the interest earned was 1,200, find, correct to 3 significant figures, the interest rates per annum. I want to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. We were told the principal is P, which is 5,600. We're told the time span was 3 years and it's compound interest. We're told that the compound interest was Ghanaian cedis 1,200. So this should be cedis somewhere behind it. So we're told to find the R. So we know that the interest is equal to the amount minus the principal, right? So the I is 1,200. Then the A formula for our A is what? If I bring this out, this is P times 1. Is this depreciation? Okay, is normal compound interest. So 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power of T. These are our equations. So I'll just substitute. So our P is 5,600 multiplied by 1 plus our R is what we're trying to find. So that will be R over 100 raised to the power of T. Our T is 3, so minus P, which is 5,600. So if I correct like terms, that will be 1,200 plus 5,600 is equal to 5,600. Multiply this by 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power of 3. So if you do this addition, this will give you 6,800 is equal to 5,600 times 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power of 3. So if you want to make this 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power of 3 standalone, you have to divide both sides by 5,600. So if I divide this place by 5,600 and I divide this place by 5,600, first things first is that this guy will cancel out this guy. And if you press this division in your calculator, like I'm doing now, you're going to have 17 over 14. So this will resolve to 17 over 14, which will be equal to 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power of 3. So if I want to make just 1 plus R over 100 be what would remain, I have to take the cube roots of both sides. So if I take the cube roots of both sides, what would that give me? That would be cube root of 17 over 14 is equal to cube root of 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power of 3. And we know this already, that this would take out the cube in the power of 3 inside this place. So if I press the cube root of 17 divided by 14 in my calculator, this gave me 1.067. Let me just leave it at that. So this will be equal to 1 plus r over 100, because by this time the power of the 3 will have gone. So from the answer that I got to my calculator, I could subtract 1, because if I rearrange this place, this will be 1.067 minus 1 is equal to r over 100. So if I subtract 1 from that and then I multiply by 100, you agree with me that I have to multiply by 100, because if I minus 1 from this, that would be 0.067 something is equal to r over 100. If I cross multiply, then I would have what I have. So r will now be equal to 6.69%. So did they tell us how many significant places that we should leave it? Okay, it's correct to 3 significant places, which is this 1, 2, 3. So 6.69%. This should be our answer. Let's check if we're correct. Great, so 6.69%. So you might be wondering that why did we have 6.69? Given that when I did this 1 minus 0.67, it should have been 0.067, right? And you'll be correct. Just that in my calculator, I didn't clear out that answer, so I was just doing whatever it gave me minus 1 times 100, just to be sure that I get the exact value. So if you did not do that, so you'll be having something like 6.7, right? If I wanted to do 2 significant places, this would be 6.7. But if you're working for exam purpose and you want to be exactly very correct, try not to clear out your answers on your calculator, or just write everything in full then to the very end, so that you have the exact value. Next question says that a trader bought 100 oranges at 5 for 40 naira and sold at 20 for 120. Find the profit or loss percent. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So if she bought 100 oranges at 5 for 40, so you could say if 5 oranges cost 40 naira, then 100 oranges will cost x naira. So let me just put naira in front of this. So if I cross multiply, 5 times x will be equal to 100 times 40. And if I divide both sides by 5, if I divide this by 5, 5 here 1, 5 here 8, 5 will cancel 5. So our x will be equal to 100 times 8, which is 800. So 800 naira. This was the cost price. So this is the cost price. She now says that she sold at 20 for 120 naira. So for the selling bit, if she sold 20 for 120 naira, how much did she now sell the 100 for? So this is like, let me just say x naira. So if I cross multiply, this would be 100 times 120. Okay, let me just say 20 times x. So 20 times x is equal to 100 times 120. If I divide both sides by 20, so this will go, this will be 6, this will go, this will go. So x is equal to 100 times 6, which is 600, and this is the selling price. So in answer to find the profit or loss percentage, we know that our formula for percentage loss or profit is what? Selling price minus cost price all over cost price times 100. So we know that the selling price is 600 minus the cost price is 800 all over the cost price, which is 800, then multiply this by 100. If you do this calculation, this would be minus 200 all over 800 times 100, right? And if I divide both sides, so this one will go, this one will go, because 800 divided by 200 is 4. 4 here 1, 4 here 25. So this is equal to minus 25%. So because the negative value, then we know that it is a percentage loss. Simple and short. Let's see if our answer is correct. So that should be 25% loss, which is option D. Great. Next question says that a trader bought 30 baskets of pawpaw and 100 baskets of mango for 2,450. She sold the pawpaw at a profit of 40% and the mangoes at a profit of 30%. If her profit on the entire transaction was 855 naira, find the cost price of a basket of pawpaw and selling price of the 100 baskets of mangoes. I want to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So one thing that we know is that the number of pawpaw that she bought was 30 baskets. and the number of mangoes that she bought was 100 baskets. So if pawpaw is P and mangoes is M, and if she bought all of them for 2,450, so I could say 30P plus 100M is equal to naira 2,450 naira. Does that make sense? So 30 baskets of pawpaw plus 100 baskets of mango. By the time you add this will be 2,450, which is the cost price. So she now said that she sold the pawpaw at a profit of 40%. If she sold pawpaw at a profit of 40%, then that means that 1.4 times the 30p, and of course this should not be strange. So this is the selling price. So 1.4, because there was a profit of 40%, times the cost price of the pawpaw, that will give me the selling price of the pawpaw, plus, and she now said, and the mangoes at a profit of 30%. So this would be 1.3 times 100m. So we don't know what the sum of it is, but they told us that if our profit on the entire sale was 855 naira, so that means that if I remove the selling price from the cost price, it will give me 855 naira. So this is what we know. So let me just say this is like y. So we don't know what the selling price is. But one thing that they told us, that if I subtract the selling price from the cost price, it will give me 855 naira. So that means that y minus 2,450 is equal to 855 naira. Did I get that right? Yes, 855, which is selling price minus the cost price, 855 naira. So that means my y will now be equal to 855 plus 2,450, just by carrying over, and that will give me 3,305 naira. So that means the selling price was 3,305 naira. So I could replace it and say this guy, instead of saying y, I could just say 3,305 naira. So now let's simplify the selling price equation. So this is 1.4 times 30 would give me 42. So this 42p plus 1.3 times 100 will give me 130. So 130m is equal to 3,305. So now we know this from all the things that we've done. How can we now simplify? Let's try to simplify this cost price. So let me try to simplify this, my equation 1. If I call this equation 1 and I call this equation 2, let me try to simplify equation 1 so that we can be able to work with something more bearable. So simplifying equation 1, what I would do is that I would divide equation 1 by 10. 10 can go here, 10 can go here, 10 can go here. So that would be equation 1 divided by 10. That makes sense. That will give me 3p plus 10m is equal to 245. So this will be my equation 3. Let me just say equation 3, and then let me bring in my equation 2 under. So 42p plus 130m is equal to 3305. So this is, let me just name it as equation 4. Right, all I did was just try to simplify one of the equations so that can be easier for me to work with. So I can say from equation 3, if I want to make piece of the formula, I would say 3p is equal to 245 minus 10m, and if I divide both sides by 3, this will give me p is equal to 245 minus 10m all over 3. So this is my equation 5. Now that I've gotten this equation from equation 3, I will now substitute p into the other one that I did not touch. So that will be equation 4. So substituting equation 5 in 4, that will be 42 times 245 minus 10m all over 3 plus 130m is equal to 3305. So if I cancel, this one will cancel. I think for 3 can go in 42. This will be 1 1, so this will be 14, right? And if I open the bracket, 14 times 245 would give me 3430 minus 14 times 10, that will give me 140m plus 130m is equal to 3305. I know the question is a bit complex, but it is what it is. So this 3430 minus 140m plus 130m would give me minus 10m is equal to 3305. So let's create like terms. That will be minus 10m is equal to 3305 minus 3430. So 3305 minus 3430, that will give me minus 125. So minus 10m. If I divide both sides by minus 10, our m is equal to 12.5. So the cost of mango is 12.5 naira. Remember, this P was the price of one basket of pawpaw and the M was the price of one basket of mango. So we know the price of a basket of mango, but the question told us that we should find the price of the basket of pawpaw. So we need to find that. How can we find that? We can substitute the M into this equation 5, to find P. So substituting M in equation 5, our equation 5 is saying that P is equal to 245 minus, I think that was minus 10M, minus 10M over 3. So minus 10M over 3. So let's substitute. That will be 245 minus 10 times 12.5 all over 3. Everything all over 3. So this should not be here. This should be somewhere here. So 245 minus 10 times 12.5 will give me 125. So if I divide this guy by 3, 245 minus 125 will give me 120. So this is 120 all over 3, and that will give me what? 40 naira. So the price of one basket of pawpaw is 40 naira. Now the question says that what is the selling price of the 100 baskets of mango for the II? So for the 100 baskets of mango, the selling price of the 100 baskets of mango, if we go forward, we're told that for the selling price of the mango, it was sold at a profit of 30%. So the selling price for the mango would be 1.3 times 100. You need to be very careful with this particular question. It's very tricky. That would be 1.3 times 100 M. I know our M to be 12.5, so that would be 1.3 times 100 times 12.5. This gave me 1,625. If you are not careful, what you do is that you just say 100 M and you say 100 times 12.5. No, but you remember when they were selling, they sold at the profit of 30%. So you need to put that into consideration. Be very, very careful about the question. What did we do? We first illustrated what we were given as cost price and selling price. Then because of the equation 1 was very, very big, I divided through by 10. So 10 could go through everything there just to make it easier for me to work with. Then I found the equation for P. After I found the equation for P, I got the value for M by substituting the equation for P into the other equation I did not touch, was equation 4. After I found value for P, I used to find value for M, which gave me 12.5. Then I substituted the value of M into my P equation to find the value of P. Then I found the selling price of 100 baskets of mango, which was 1.3 times 100 M. Please be very, very careful about questions like this. Let's see if we're correct. 40 and 1,065. Great. Next question says that a trader bought sachet water for 55 Ghanaian cedis per dozen and sold them at 10 for 50 Ghanaian cedis. Calculate correct to 2 decimal places percentage gain. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we're told that the cost price was 55 cedis per dozen, and a dozen is 12, so per 12. So let's find the cost price for 1. So we can say the unit cost price would be 55 cedis divided by 12. So that would be 4.583 cedis. Right, and that says that it sold them for 10 for, so we know that the unit selling price, this is very easy, so that would be 50 divided by 10. So it sold for 5. Now it says calculate correct to 2 decimal places percentage gain. The unit, this would be like the unit selling price minus the unit cost price all over the unit cost price times 100. This will give me the percentage gain. Of course, it will be a gain because we have 5 cedis and we have 4.583 cedis. So that will be 5 minus 4.583 all over 4.583 times 100. So if you press that in your calculator, this is like 9.10% gain. Round up the value, you have 9.10% gain. Let's see if we're correct. Okay, so we have 9.09%, and that is very close to what I actually had 9.0988, but I just rounded it up to 9.10. So that should be option C. Great. The last question says that a television set was marked for sale at 760 Ghanaian cedis in order to make a profit of 20%. The television set was actually sold at a discount of 5%. Calculate correct to 2 significant figures the actual percentage profit. I want to actually pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we know that in this particular question, it was already marked up to 760 cedis in order to make a profit of 20%. So we can get that the initial selling price was 760 cedis. So we can find the cost price from this, because what we did was mark it up by 20%. That will be 1.2 times the cost price. That will give us 760, because it's already marked up by 20%. So we can know that the initial cost price was 760 divided by 1.2. So if I press that in my calculator, that will give me 633.33 cedis. That is the cost price. Now see that the television set was actually sold at a discount of 5%. After he marked up the cost price, which was 633.33 by 20% to get 760, he now had to actually do a discount of 5%. So 5% discount, so that means the final selling price would be 1 minus 0.05, because the discount, times that 760. Remember, you already marked up to 760. When you realize that probably things were not moving very fast, in order to now do a 5% discount. It did not do a 5% discount on the initial cost price, though. It did a 5% discount on the marked up price. That would be 0.95 times 760. 0.95 times 760 is 722. So this is 722 Ghanaian cedis. So the percentage profits would just be selling price minus cost price all over cost price times 100. So we know that the selling price for this one is 722 minus the cost price was 633.33 all over 633.33 times 100. If you press that on your calculator, what would that give you? So that gave me 14%. So you just need to be very careful about questions like this. You know, they said it was already marked up for sale at 760 in order to make a profit of 20%. So from this, I can find the cost price. Now, so the television set were actually sold at a discount of 5%. So after he already marked it up, probably was not selling, he had to now bring it down by 5%. So that's where, when you're doing that 5%, you're not going to be doing it times the cost price. So that's very wrong. You have to do it by the initial selling price, so that you can know how much you really now sold it. That you can find the actual percentage profits. So let's see if our answer is correct. It's 14%. And that brings us to the end of the WAEC past questions on percentage. I will encourage you that you also check years like 2014 and other years. Once you can get a strong hold of it, there's some very tricky questions in this thing, so you have to be very, very careful and read between the lines. But if you can do that, you would be unstoppable. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to our channel if you have not. Like the video. If you have any question, if you have any comments, if there's something that is not clear, trust me, I respond to all questions. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.